What is going on, everybody? This is Bronco Juggalo, and it is an extremely late Saturday night. This is the Saturday prior to this video coming out. My foreign slashers video has been up all day, and I watched this video and I filmed this video today because I know that next week I'm going to be out of town all week, and it's going to be very hard to at least watch the movie I picked. Today's topic is secondary slashers, and it's slasher movies where the slasher part of it is not exactly the main phase of it. And I chose the 1984 film that would go on to be considered one of the greatest action movies of all time, The Terminator. Directed by James Cameron, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger as the Terminator, or T-101. It stars Linda Hamilton as Sarah Connor, and it stars Michael Biehn, or Behan, I'm not sure how you say it exactly, as Kyle Reese. A cyborg is sent from the future back to 1984 to kill the mother of the human resistance. In the future, the machines have taken over, and they are trying to wipe out the human race. Guys, there are so many cool facts about this movie that I had to choose just my favorites, because I couldn't go through every single fact or else we would be here all night long. The first one, and maybe the coolest one, is that the role of the Terminator was originally meant for O.J. Simpson. And prior to O.J. Simpson, both Sylvester Stallone and Mel Gibson turned the role down. Cameron, however, thought that O.J. Simpson was too nice and people wouldn't buy him as the Terminator. Schwarzenegger was actually supposed to play Kyle Reese. Guys, this is just a personal one, and it's not a favorite thing that happens in the movie for me, but it's something that I just never noticed before. You do get to see Arnold's junk. I never noticed it before. I've watched this movie a million times, and I've never quite noticed that when Arnold is walking towards the thugs, the hooligans, the 1980s fucking gang members that do not look intimidating at all, and he's walking towards them, his junk is swinging. Yeah, I didn't realize that before. It adds a whole new level of weird to this movie. James Cameron was actually inspired by John Carpenter's Halloween and a dream. He had a dream where a metal torso was clawing its way from a burning building with steak knives. And that's how he came up with the concept for Terminator. He also wanted a killer that could not be reasoned with, that could not be, bartered with, that could not be pleaded with, just like Michael Myers. And he even wanted to shoot the movie kind of in the same style as Halloween. And there are some really awesome things, including something I like to call the Carpenter shot. Now, the Carpenter shot is when the Terminator is attacking Sarah Connor's roommate and her boyfriend, and he crashes the boyfriend's body through the door, and it just kind of hangs there like this. It's got all the blood just on it, but it's not like so much blood that it's, like all gore. It's just like blood trickling down, I call that the Carpenter shot because if you look at that shot, it looks like something Carpenter had filmed. That shot looked like it could have came right out of Halloween. It looks like a Carpenter shot scene. James Cameron's agent did not like the script. He didn't like the script, and he didn't want Carpenter to do yet another horror movie, as the original script is a straight-up horror science fiction slasher. So James Cameron just turned around and fired the guy. He's like, "Oh, you don't believe my shit? Go away." He fired him, and I think that's hilarious. Before filming started on this film, Schwarzenegger was filming, I believe it was Conan the Destroyer, and he was given an interview with a magazine, and they asked him about some shoes that he had sitting there, and they were shoes that he was going to be wearing in this movie, the boots. And he said, "Oh, it's for some shit film. Shouldn't take me more than 2 weeks." At the time, he really didn't believe or care about the script. He did it because he was offered the role and it was a paycheck. But in this movie, he turns in what is, in my opinion, his finest performance. Now, I've said many times that I like part 2 just a bit more, but Arnold is best in this movie. I have no cons, guys, and I've already kind of given some of my pros when talking about some of these facts, but my first pro, the first thing that I noticed about this movie is that the first set of kills, it really lends to that slasher vibe. When he is stalking the Sarah Connors, when he kills the one with his bare hands, and the hand just comes out and it's got the blood dripping from, that's a horror movie shot. Okay, this is a horror slasher film. That's what it was intended to be. And if you really watch it, that's what it still really is at its core. Yes, it has the big explosions for the action sequences, lots of gunfire, you know, the attack on the police station. But at its core, this is still very much a horror film, in my opinion. You know, to lend to that, after the injuries to the Terminator's face, his face has this almost ghoul-like quality to it. When he puts the glasses on and his hair's kind of slicked back and he's like driving the motorcycle or whatever, Arnold's face at the time was very angular, and it gives him this impression of being ghoul-like, almost like Marilyn Manson looking like, and especially in the dark and when he's got the glasses on. There's just something very, very sinister and very evil about it, which once again lends to the slasher vibe. He doesn't talk a lot, even though there's great dialogue in this movie. And the "I'll be back" was never intended to be a one-liner. It was just, he was simply stating he would be back. Nobody ever thought it was going to become the phenomenon of a catchphrase that it became. You know, I really like the dialogue in this movie. I love the very ending line that Linda Hamilton says to the Terminator. "You're terminated, fucker." I love that. It's just so good. It makes you feel, once again, that this is her, a final girl, in her last stand, giving that one-liner right before she kills the guy, which happens in so many horror films. And once again, we have the final scare. After Kyle Reese blows up the Terminator, you know, the torso pieces come back and go after Sarah again. And it crawls after her, just like in horror movies. Everything about this movie, when it comes down to the core, is a horror film. Now, yes, it is, in its guise, an action film. Probably because that's what they knew would sell tickets. But it's still, at its core, in my opinion, a horror slasher. And some people say, well, it can't be a slasher because he uses guns. It still has the elements. It still does the stalking. It's all still there. He just chooses a different weapon. And he uses bare hands in a couple kills too. So, and if we really want to talk about slashers, how about Judgment Day? There's some straight up blades in that movie. But guys, that's a review for another day. This is Bronco Juggalo saying, if you've never seen the Terminator, yeah, I give some spoilers, but you know what? It's the fucking Terminator. What have you been doing if you haven't seen this movie? You definitely need to see it. I hope that everybody enjoys this Slashback Saturday. I hope you're all having a great day, and from the bottom of Bronco Juggalo's heart, I love you all, and I love my brothers Jay and Joe. This is Bronco Juggalo saying, have a safe night. Peace.
Somebody should have told you I'm the wrong one. All fun and games until you see me with the shotgun. Homie, I'm the wrong one.